Bizarre Brain Comics. Howdy, Gary here for Bizarre Brain Comics, where I like to take a look at old comics and look at the stories and break down the art, and talk a little bit about the creators. Well, this time we're going to take a look at this magazine right here. This is the Dragon Lady Press, the Best of the Tribune Company, number 2, featuring 2 Dick Tracy adventures. But we're going to just talk about one of them. So the one we're going to talk about is by Max Allan Collins, the writer. He wrote both of them. And drawn by Dick Locher. I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce his name. Maybe Locher. And, okay, let's take a little look into the big book of knowledge. So this is Dick Tracy by Max Allan Collins and Dick Locher. And the story is The Land of Plenty. This is the Best of the Tribune Company, number 2, from Dragon Lady Press. And the magazine is from 1985, reprinting this adventure from 12/25/83, that's Christmas Day of 1983, to 4/29 of 84. Now, Max Allan Collins, he was born in 1948, so he's still around. He's an American mystery writer, noted for his graphic novels and comics, as well as books. Known for his Road to Perdition series, which was the basis of the film by the same name from 2002. He wrote the Dick Tracy comic strip for several years, as well as Dick Tracy novels. And he is an award-winning mystery novelist. Many of his novels were novelizations of films. Yeah, he did several of them. I read in I think he was in part of an interview with him or something like that nature, in which he described that sometimes while he was doing the novelization, he would flesh out scenes that weren't in the maybe not in the script, and added other scenes, and mentioned how the film producers liked the particular scene and then went back and shot the scene that he wrote for the novel. But I couldn't tell you what scenes, what movies that may have been. So he's even written for Batman comics, and he retconned the origin of the Jason Todd Robin. And that was in '87, and he co-created the DC Comics character Wild Dog. And I haven't seen him in comics in ages. He probably makes an appearance once in a while, but he was a recurring character for about 3, maybe 4 seasons on the CW Arrow series. And he was a fan of the Mickey Spillane mystery books since childhood, and became a friend and collaborator with him. After Mickey Spillane's death, he was entrusted with many unfinished works by Spillane and completed some of the Mike Hammer novels, such as The Goliath Bone and The Big Bang. And I thought, I listened to them on audio. I didn't get to read them, and they were very, very enjoyable. Now, Dick Locher, he's the artist on this. He was from 1929, correction, No, that's right, 1929 to 2017. And he studied at the University of Iowa and the Chicago Institute of Fine Arts. Uh, and he assisted Rick Yeager on Buck Rogers, then joined the Air Force and became a test pilot. Now that's something. A cartoonist, and he became a test pilot. and while in the service, he began freelancing for the Stars and Stripes newspaper. In '57, he began assisting Chester Gould on Dick Tracy, and leaving the strip in '61, and started an ad agency. And he worked on designing characters for McDonald's. So when you see the Hamburglar, you may be seeing someone who could have been in Dick Tracy. In 1973, Gould recommended Locher for an open position as editorial cartoonist for the Chicago Tribune. And he returned to the Dick Tracy strip in '83 after the then current cartoonist Rick Fletcher, who drew the other story in this magazine, had died. And he drew the strip until 2009, but continued writing until 2011. So he had a long history with Dick Tracy. So let's go just see one little bit of that history of Tracy. Here we go. Here, Dick Tracy and the Land of Plenty. Yeah, here you get to see the full, better image of that full cover. Try to get some of that glare off there. And this cover was drawn by Rick Fletcher. And that's a cool image of Tracy right there. And as I said, this issue is from 1985, and the story is from '83 and '84. Now, I mentioned that Max Allan Collins was a mystery writer and had written a bunch of novels and novelizations. Just for example, here's one. This is the novelization that he wrote of the Dick Tracy movie with had Madonna in it. I suddenly forgot the name of the actor who played Tracy. I enjoyed the movie. It's a good movie, except it just kind of happened to have pretty much the same plot as the Batman movie from a couple years before. But it's really enjoyable, especially getting to see all those weird-looking Tracy villains in the flesh, as it were. And here, I wanted to show you this. Has nothing to do with any of these other people, other than this is just an old Dick Tracy novel that I've got. This is from 1945, so it's old and delicate. Okay, it says it's Dick Tracy Meets the Nightcrawler, an original story based on the comic strip Dick Tracy by Chester Gould, but it doesn't give the actual author. Just kind of making you think that Chester Gould wrote it, but I doubt that. Doubt that he had time to write novels. And I did want to show you this. Get one sample if I can get it open here. Yeah. Here is a Chester Gould. I don't want to damage it here. Chester Gould, or a good imitation of Chester Gould drawing of Tracy from the inside of this book. I'm going to see. Oh, you can see in the frontispiece. Main characters. I just wanted to show you that. It has nothing to do with this story. Okay, now, as I said, this story started on Christmas Day, and that's where it starts, right there. Now, this is Tracy and family are at the home of Beale Plenty in Gravel Gertie. So at this point in time, okay, Dick Tracy is married to Tess Trueheart. It took me a minute to remember her name. Is married to Tess Trueheart. They have a son, but they also have his adopted son, Junior, but who is now grown up and married, and they have a baby of their own. And the mother or the parents of Tracy's daughter-in-law are Beale Plenty and Gravel Gertie, longtime friends and strip staples from way back when. Okay, here we are. It's Christmas time now, and they're leaving. So Beale Plenty is taking the trash out, and then suddenly something is spilled on him from the overpass overhead. Oh, what the heck? It's Beale Plenty. He's got a hick from the backwoods. They even describe him here as a hillbilly, and he has difficulty with words and names. He always messes words up, and he can't even say Tracy's name correctly. He's always Bracy or Macy. So turns out someone was on the overpass up overhead and dumping toxic waste, and it landed right on Beale Plenty. Oh my gosh. Well, he goes inside, washes up, shut off the light, and he starts glowing in the dark. So then they get next thing they get Tracy out, and they're investigating, finding the stuff. Yeah, that's toxic waste, all right. And their whole house is whole property is condemned or quarantined. They live under an overpass, and they have to leave their home while this place is being cleaned up, and they stay with Tracy and family, and then, well, they don't know what they're going to do, but turns out, see, meanwhile they're trying to investigate the toxic waste stuff. And here we see some people involved in that. Now, I'll show you, because they're known for, while being very cartoonish, is also otherwise very realistic, like background and stuff, have the silly names and stuff, but look how nicely drawn that gun is. I know it's something people may not appreciate, but all the background's nice and clean. And that one thing I really like in his line work in the figures, in the characters, some really interesting and lovely line work on his characters. His style is distinctly different from Chester Gould's, but it is still in the Chester Gould style. And here's something you almost never saw with Chester Gould, is a full front face of Dick Tracy. And there's another one of them. Now, they're staying with the Tracys, and they're investigating, and Tracy and company, or the police are investigating this toxic waste dumping, and they have whittled it down to a couple of suspects. This one company called Toxic, spelled backwards. I can't even pronounce how it's supposed to be. And so meanwhile they're investigating, and they staking out, and they almost Beale Plenty has bought some lottery tickets, and he's just convinced he's going to win. I think all of us know something about that. Anyway, meanwhile, Tracy, they brace these crooks who are dumping the waste. They call them, it's known as midnight hauling, because this illegal dumping, and caught the guy in the act of dumping, but well, he's got the drop on him. This guy's got a ski mask, so he can't be seen. He splashes some of the crud on Tracy, and manages to get in the truck and take off, but he didn't shut off the valve. So meanwhile, he's dumping it all along the highway while they're giving chase. They give chase until the trail runs cold. Because remember, this is wintertime. And the snow. And they got a picture, but the picture's no good because they can't tell who. Can't see the face of the guy. Meanwhile, B.O. Plenty still staying with the Tracys, and now they're getting set for the lottery. And wonder of wonders, B.O. actually wins the lottery, $3 million. $3 million. And of course, back then that would have been the equivalent of about almost $10 million today. And of course, then they have a little bit of humor because he gets the check and then he goes to the bank and cashes it all in cash because he doesn't trust banks because his daddy lost some money in the bank in the crash of '29. So then they go and stay in a hotel, get out of Tracy's place, stay at a hotel for a while. Meanwhile, all their luggage is loaded with loot. Then they go looking around, find them a house, find them a new house, and they buy the house and have some work done on it, and they call it Acres. What does it call it? We'll get to it. Meanwhile, here are the haulers, the midnight haulers, are a couple, and their names are Di and Oxen. Called Oxy, or dioxin, which is toxic waste. And these are people, they work by setting up these companies, supposed to be legally getting rid of toxic waste. Then they dump it illegally, take the money and split. And that's what they're doing here. And it's getting close to time for them to split. So here they are. Here they are. This is Sunnydale Acres 2, because that's what they called their previous house, Sunnydale Acres. But here they got this new big fancy house with the money that he won, and that's fine. And then he's got Tracy's trying to convince him he can't keep all that money in cash in the house, so he puts them in mason jars and buries them in the backyard. And even though that's no good. So then, out of the blue, B.O. Plenty's brother, Good and Plenty, who is a crook, pops up, says he's reformed. He wants to. B.O. hasn't seen him in 40 years. He's a con man. And B.O., against his better judgment, lets him stay. They stay. He stays, and he winds up working for B.O., trying to get him, because B.O.'s got this project he wants to do. He buys some land, and he wants to build an amusement park called Land of Plenty. So, turns out that his brother, Good and Plenty, happens to be an associate of these midnight haulers. So he takes a little finder's fee. He finds this property and he buys it. It helps his brother, and it helps these midnight haulers because it happens to be the land that they've been illegally dumping stuff on. So here you go. Finally. Yeah, here's the land, and it talks about it. But turns out this is property that's ridiculously low priced, and they're suspicious. Tracy and company are suspicious about this property, thinking he's been hoodwinked. So he goes and talks to him, Good and Plenty, and he warns him straight up: if I find out I'm going to keep my eye on you. And I think your brother's right. You're a bad one. Future site, Land of Plenty. Of course, all this takes place over weeks and months. When in reality, this would probably take years to do a project like this, and it would cost a lot more than $3 million. But still, so here it's being built. It's finally built, and having opening day at the amusement park. and they're getting a look around and seeing all these rides, and there seem to be Dick Tracy themed rides. That's all I can say. Here's a little health food place from Vitamin and Vitamin Flintheart, a friend of Tracy's. And here, while Beale Plenty's on the Ferris wheel, they notice something. There's cracks in the pavement, and it's growing. It's a chasm. Oh no, what's happening? And the whole place is beginning to collapse, and everything is coming down. People are almost killed, but Tracy and everyone manages to get everybody out okay. So no one's hurt except Beale's heart. But the whole place is destroyed when all this toxic stuff starts bubbling up, and the whole place is destroyed. Oh my gosh! See, and the whole reason he got Beale let his brother con him is because they had committed a crime when they were children or teenagers, and his brother took the rap, and he was going to blackmail Beale. So that got him all into this mess in the first place. Well, good and plenty. Yeah, he's about to go on the lam, and he's being threatened by his brother with a shotgun. That's a good shot right there. Beale and his brother, but so he gets the information about the swindlers, and then he tells his brother to get. So he gets pretty good. So Gravel Gertie, Beale's wife, went to Tracy because he was concerned that Beale might kill his brother. Then he finds out that he didn't. He took off. He went to go get the people, and so Tracy's out after him. And he still glows. Beale Plenty still glows in the dark from that first splash of the toxic waste. And so while he's sneaking up on these people at night with his shotgun, and they're about to go on the lambs, getting all their loot, in order to get out of there, they spot him because he's glowing in the dark. They take off. They put their loot in a truck with some toxic waste. They didn't have a chance to dump it yet, and they take off. And Beale's blasting away at that truck. Well, the truck careens, crashes, burns, and then, well, it looks like Beale just might blow him away, and he might. He doesn't get a chance to. Tracy's there. They grab everybody, get out of there. Just as the truck explodes, and they got a pool of toxic waste, and they're concerned that the fire's going to spread to this other toxic waste there. The fire department's there. They put it out, and Di and Oxen are in jail. Then Diet Smith, another friend, he's a wealthy friend, has returned to town. And he sees Beale and says, "Oh, I'm sorry about what happened, but here, I'm going to help you out. Let's become partners, and we'll rebuild the land of plenty someplace else, and we'll do all what you wanted to." But Beale, he's downcast. "Oh, I can't do that. I want to, but I can't." No one can figure out why he's so downcast, because the next day, find out, well, he stopped glowing. Well, that's a good thing anyway. So then the next day, B.O. and goes to see Tracy, turn himself in for the crime that he committed with his brother as a kid, and he said, "Well, you're a different person now because you've become a good person, especially with Gravel Gertie. She really turned you into a good man, and plus the statute of limitations on that crime has run out. So yay." He gets to he doesn't go to jail, and he gets to go into business with Diet Smith on the land of plenty. And that is the end of the story. And then I want to show you this here. Dick Tracy's Rogues Gallery, which show some of the villains from over the years, and then Crime Stoppers. Little things about crime. Holiday cheers. Say the holiday toasting till your driving chores are over for the day. Stuff like that. Okay. And that's all I've got of the story. But I just want to go back and say I really liked his artwork, his style. It's just a pleasing line, of course, and it's a little more humorous. And the writing, I think it was a well-conceived written story. It is somewhat tongue-in-cheek, though the earlier strips with Chester Gould, even though it had the silly names and stuff, was still straightforward adventure and serious mystery, and this is too, but it just has little bits of humor, so it is slightly tongue-in-cheek, especially with some of these silly names. But that is in the Chester Gould tradition. And I wanted to show, if I can find some here, some of the patterns and the clues. I like the way he did her hair. I mean, just to describe it, and in the story, it says that she has purple hair. Nice backgrounds. Some more nice, clean backgrounds. Of course, now I'm not going to find any. It was some of the patterns and some of the clothing. Oh well. It's some really intricate detail, and I think it was transfer patterns, but I'm not sure. See, there's nice, strong detail in these panels here with the disaster. Nice, good explosions, and it turns out to be a real exciting conclusion to the story, worthy of a Hollywood movie. Hey, because they did have a Hollywood movie. Anyway, so I thought that was a good, nice, fun adventure. It's because one of my first videos was about Dick Tracy and showing Chester Gould's work from the 40s on that flat top story. So here we have about 40 odd years later, a different creator, or different creators, and it was still going strong, and some good fun adventures. Okay, and I hope you enjoyed that, especially happen to be Dick Tracy fans. Yeah, Tracy. And please like, share, subscribe, and share with your other comic friends, and or people who like Dick Tracy, or Max Collins fans, or just mystery fans. And thank you very much. And remember, comics are art.